Friends, colleagues and listeners, here we are and we're at the beginning of a nice podcast series, and it's with the company Awery Aviation Software, and I'm here at the beginning, so the once upon a time stage with Vitaly Smilianets.
Hello, nice to
Did
meet
I
you.
pronounce that okay?
Yeah.
Thank
it's
heavens
okay.
above. So Vitaly is the founder and CEO of Awery, so welcome. Really pleased to have you on board, and we're also looking forward to having a couple of episodes with some of your senior management team. Now, what I'd like to ask you first, if you don't mind, because obviously the journey began in 2009. So how did it begin? Why did it begin? And why are you so passionate about introducing the many changes that the industry needs?
Yeah, so it's like, long story short, when I was a bit younger, I was working in a company and we were selling the cargo aircraft from CIS countries to Middle East. And that time I saw that a lot of stuff, there was a lot of movement, a lot of boom in aviation, and many of the things were done Excel, paper, emails, and so on. And I saw a real opportunity where we can go and create kind of solution or system. And we were quite lucky that one of the customers, they believed that we're able to deliver the product, and this is how it all started. And then we started with like flight management, crew management, then it went to cargo, full cargo management, ULD, and then the full accounting itself.
Okay, brilliant. So that initial customer entered into a POC type concept with you, which is great because you both learned together, which is fantastic. And I've got to do a little shout out to a guy I did a podcast with a couple of weeks ago, David Ambridge, who ever since I've known him, and we're talking about decades, he always complains about how slow this industry is to catch up with what's going on in other industries. And I'm pretty sure you must be pretty aware of the same level of speed.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the thing is like it's really a bit more complicated than a lot of other industries. And whenever you see and try to implement something quickly and A to Z, then you just see the real process, and you see like different steps and different requirements, and it's not so easy as it sounds like. But I still think there is now, especially during COVID, there is a need of these things, and people more and more understanding that it's like too late now. We need to speed up and digitize the technology, what can be done in cargo as well, what's now available in other industries.
Yeah, and because of obviously the regulatory criteria and compliance expectation, but as it's a global industry, you've got certain parts of the world that are not as quick or as capable as others, so you then get exceptions all the time. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges you've got, isn't it?
Yeah. What we see, even like small and big carriers, for how it was originally maybe done in software, for every little problem you have a different system. So some airlines may end up like 140 different systems which need to talk together. And this is where we saw the opportunity that like providing one unified solution will really help and make things much easier inside one system. And also nowadays, any software you create, it's always need to be compatible with others, and it need to be integratable. Yeah. So all times are gone.
Exactly.
even in software in cargo, how it may sound now, but this is like what we all see.
But it's also good, and I suppose what you're trying to do now, and then the other external influences, apart from the geopolitical problems, but the exodus of experience, and now new younger generations who don't have the experience and are not even sure whether aviation is the right industry for them, marrying that up, I would have thought the obvious solution is the more AI supported and the more digitalization that goes on, the better it is to fill that natural gap. Would that be right?
Yeah, and this is what we actively work on. I think in cargo there is a lot of manual tasks, a lot of repetitive tasks, a lot of tasks like, for example, reconciling the manifest, airway bills, where it's just like very simple things which I think really can be automated by AI, and this is what we are working on, this is where we see the efficiency going on. And one of our projects, like eMagic, is one tool which just converts incoming traffic, converts it to kind of quotation or booking details, and just speed up the process. From the other side, we created these tools. Even everyone said, digital airway bills, everything should be paperless, whatever. But in reality, you still have all these airway bill copies, And what is usually done, you need to scan them, you need to upload them to system to keep a track or keep it in folders, whatever. So we created, also using AI technology, you just email it to Awery. It will split the manifest on multiple pages, look for airway bill numbers, attach them as a separate copies to airway bills. And then we're also now looking what is the chargeable and gross weight inside airway bill, and combining it what is data in your system and just giving you proactive alerts to see that there's some discrepancy.
So if there's any, and excuse my ignorance, but does that also link in then to the traditional ready for carriage at the front end? And if there's any differences there, it also shows up, and then an action has to be taken.
That one usually comes once you have flight departed and you have the manifest or whatever. So I would say it's still post-flight, but this is where most of the time is spent by people, And this is why people, it might be hard now to find people to do this monotone work, which is not any creative, so it's like data management or back office work. And I think it's a real problem and it's fixable. And I was a bit surprised because we did it also as a POC with one of the customer. And then we just see how much they rely on this simple. It looks like simple for them, or correct. I mean, on background, it's a lot of work to make it. But for them, it's just simple. You put on scanner a readable copy. You get it from the gun handler. You put it on scanner. You email it to system, and it's already there. So 50 steps are kind of automated, and means all these people can do more work or more beneficial work or more work which will bring more revenue to the company.
Also makes them a bit more agile, and if anything, it sort of eliminates the repetitive activities, and the people that will be remaining then, they get to do much more, and they get to see the process in its more fuller state.
And some processes where I see AI will help, but we still see experience is important. Like how much cargo you can load on the ULD, how you can allocate it, do the grouping and so on. So there is still a lot of experience which need to be, not taken from the people, but see from different angle and then only put it on automation where possible.
So there's an opportunity there to capture all that experience in one form or another through practical exercises that can then be referenced.
But again, my concept was not to replace people, but to make their work easier. Like what you
more interesting.
And more interesting, yes.
So that was a nice segue for you to deliver that you're not replacing all these people. I really appreciate it. But one of the things that I looked at this morning, and it was a quote that popped up on LinkedIn from yourself, was we hear a lot that it is quite hard to get new people or new students in the air cargo industry, because it's a lot of monotonous work and a lot of repetitive tasks. And you also added that AI just brings more interest and makes work in cargo even more enjoyable.
This is just like to summary what we are just describing, and this is like what my feeling or my history of what I'm recognizing during all these 15 years. There is like a big difference. So there's a lot of people in cargo with a quite senior or quite close to retiring age, and there is now a lot of new people just arriving at it. And it's not so much in between, and I think that's why it's also kind of a lot of push that things need to be automated. It cannot be done as it was done during the fax when you need to FFR to send FFR manually and so on. Because I still know a lot of people, you won't believe me, who can type FFR, FFM manually, and they know how to do it. But try to see now someone graduated and explain him why you actually need to do it when you have all this technology around. You mean type FFM manually?
Talking about it, I've been in this business many decades. I won't say how many because I'm not even sure if my family know how old I am. But I remember doing the old manifests on the roll, and you had the ink, and you just kept turning it round, and it pumped out however many you needed. So things have changed since then. Now your profile on your products is really extensive, huh?
Because we were bootstrapping from beginning. So whenever I basically able to see any kind of opportunity,
you had it. But I mean, it's really substantial. It's great.
But it's like a technique that I consider Awery, or we consider Awery as a platform, and it's kind of adaptable for different kind of businesses. And the same models can be reused in different scenarios, and this is what really helps. I mean, so the same tool which is used for the charter brokers to do the quotes, same can be used by operators, which we recently signed up with Etihad Airways to do the charter management process. So its original product was a charter brokerage, so the tool to do for the charter brokers, but it's just like few magical steps, and it's now converted to the tool which can be used by the airline, and basically process is quite similar.
Hence the magic, the Awery magic.
Or e-magic,
Cool. Well, what we're doing, we're going to look forward now to speaking to a couple of your colleagues, and then we'll have you back on again to do a wrap up at the end. But it's great what you're doing, and I would recommend to anybody, go onto your website and just have a look at the options that are available. I mean, it covers virtually everything.
A lot, but a lot of in aviation and logistics. So
Yeah.
yeah, we do with cargo airline, passenger airlines, a lot of cargo GSA.
Yep.
So I would say now we work with more than 44 cargo GSA worldwide, and I would consider Awery as a leader in that specific segment. We now work with OBC, started working with airports, ground handlers.
Yeah.
We also work with drop shipping companies like e-commerce stuff and so on. So it's really as a platform now.
Yeah, no, well done you. And I've got to say, whatever moisturising cream you're using, I think you should also put that as a product, because if you've been doing this since 2009, I'd be questioning how old you are. So fair play to you on that. Obviously, you've got no stress because you love it.
Yeah, that helps.
And it's nice to see people who really enjoy what they're doing. So look forward to catching up with you. And obviously, we've got your colleagues coming up next. Really appreciate you coming in to see us. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.